Well, we're not going to make it go away. In fact, we're getting started right here on the station that loves music and loves life. On the show for the women, by the women, and the men are involved. Welcome. There is a seat for them. This is Soul Sisters right here on Smooth 98.1. You know, we love music, we love life, we love a developed, a well rounded, a grounded woman who is doing well physically, emotionally, mentally, financially, psychologically, every other clue that you can think about. And that's why we have these conversations every Wednesday from 11 till 11:50 on Smooth 98.1. My name is Oluwaseun Olusegun. Today is not an exception because we're going to be talking about something that has been, I wouldn't say in the air, but has been for as long as can remember. Multitasking, they will tell you that it's a superpower of a woman. In fact, they will tell you that a woman has the ability to multitask because she's built for that. There are a lot of things in the life of a woman that she just needs to learn how to multitask. So it's like the more that you can multitask, the more complex and the better you are as a woman. But is that true? And today we're going to be talking about that. That's just one aspect of the conversation. Then we're also going to talk about work life, family balance as a woman, especially a woman who is high achieving and has a lot on her table. And finally, we're going to talk about goal setting as a woman because 2025 is almost here. And before you know it, we're going to be shouting New Year resolutions, New Year, New Me. But is it really new you if you have not set new goals? And what are the things you should think about when you're setting goals as a woman? Or there is no big deal, a woman or man, as long as you're a human. We'll be getting all that clarity and more from our special guest this morning who's joining us via Zoom. As you can see her face on YouTube, that will be at Smooth 91 FM Lagos, at Smooth 91 FM Lagos. And so if you look through the profile of my guest, you will see that she's in a very perfect position as well to talk about the topic today because she wears multiple hats. She's a public policy lawyer. She's an author. She's a parenting and family life advocate. She's a mother of not one, not two, not three, but four. And she's balancing all nicely with what that she's doing. She's author of children's books like First Day at Big School, Fun Day at the Museum, Fun Trip to the Village, as well as Goals, Gratitude, and Growth Journal, and the Wisdom from Women series. And finally, she's the founder of what we call Let's Encourage a Reading Nation, which we're going to talk about later on. So please welcome with me, Chiomah Momah. Can I call you Barrister Chiomah Momah?
Chiomah is fine.
Good morning, and thank you for joining me.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
I cannot wait for us to dig into the conversation today because I know that there will be gems flying out. I mean, I've searched through a number of articles that you've put out, and I've seen clips, bits and pieces of your YouTube videos and some other panel discussions that you've been on. And it's been rich. So we're going to start with that article that inspired the first part of this conversation we're going to have. And that is a multitasking woman, which you put on your website, www.chiomahmomah.net, I believe. So what brought you to that point where you decided, let me even talk about the issue of multitasking as a woman?
Well, the thing is that, for us women, it's something we pride. I used to pride myself on my ability to multitask. Like you've said, I wear many hats. I do a whole lot. And I spent the last 1 or 2 years trying to streamline and to drop some hats because I'm like, you know what? I only have one head at the end of the day, And you find out that when you're doing so many things, it affects how effective you are at doing those things. And I think one of the bright lights for me was when I had to move my older children to a different school. So I had children in two schools. And I found that because of that, one of the schools was like, oh, Mrs. Momah, we don't see you that often. What's going on? What's going on? I was like, okay, you know what? I cannot divide myself into two. I cannot be everywhere at the same time. That's just the honest truth. So this multitasking superpower, really, let me even find out more about it because, you end up finding yourself being burnt out. You're exerting too much energy. You're all over the place. You're not finishing stuff. You have things unfinished. And I was like, okay, yes, I'm a high performer, but I need to be able to complete. I'm very, very particular. I like to be disciplined when it comes to giving me a task. I want to complete it. So I started studying more about multitasking. I just said, and that was where I got my answer. Multitasking is not really something that human beings were designed to do in the first place. We were designed to monotask. We were designed to do things one at a time, and that's when you're able to complete them. I started remembering different incidents in my life when I'm doing like 3, 4 things at the same time, and I end up only finishing one. And then other times where I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm putting this at the, this thing away or on the back burner. I'm only going to just focus on one or maybe two, and I'm able to achieve so much more. And that was why I said, you know what, Chiomah, this is your multitasking hat or badge or whatever it is. You need to just put it down for a second and focus on one task after the other. And the moment I started doing that, because it involved a lot. I had to resign from certain positions I held in my estate and everywhere. I was like, you know what, I cannot do it all. I'm not the only person here. And there are other people who have such great ideas as well. I'm so honored that you've picked me, but let me focus so I can be more effective. And honestly, in the last 1 year, it's been, like I said, last 1, 2 years, it's been amazing because I'm doing less, but I'm achieving way more. And I'm present more for my family as well, which is really the most important.
Thank you so much for how you've started this conversation, because now you've given me two more questions to ask, which will bring clarity. And one of it is how you decided, yes, I appreciate you saying I should do this, but I cannot. And again, that's one thing a number of people, I wouldn't just say women, struggle with. No. That's why you see many books and things saying that no is a complete sentence. But now the focus will be, how do you now pick the things to drop? We're going to go into that answer right after this breather. In case you're joining us for the first time, we're talking about at least starting with multitasking for the woman. Is it really a superpower or it can be a weakness? You can join us, but you have to stay with us after this. So we have a short ad break for a minute and then we'll come back.
All right. Great. So what's your first name again?
I'm sorry, Oluwaseun.
Seun. Okay, Oluwaseun, great.
Cornflakes. Because it is cornflakes, 100% cornflakes. And nutritious.
A vintage treat for everyone this holiday with Showmax. Celebrate like a champion with soccer. Very well taken. Find your festive inspo with our masters of style. Embark on a fun-filled global adventure. Share your love moments with family and friends.
My son, the most handsome.
And enjoy some truly royal spoils.
Learn the power to control what happens in my life.
On Showmax, because everyone deserves a holiday treat.
My radio always stays up to Smooth 98.1. They play me the best of soul, jazz, and everything that has to do with great quality music. My name is Maka, and this is your love music, love life radio station, Smooth 98.1.
Welcome to Soul Sisters on Smooth 98.1. We love music, we love life, and we love the women. That's why we talk about these things that we discuss every Wednesday from 11 till 11:50. Today, we are delving into the topic of multitasking, and I do have as my guest, Mrs. Chiomah Momah, who's a public policy lawyer as well as an author, and she's the founder of Learn. So I'm trying to remember it now. Learn. That is Let's Encourage a Reading Nation. That's it. I found it. So we get to the part where she wears the author hat. But first, we're trying to understand multitasking. And she has said that we humans are not configured to multitask because we are not the multiple tabs that you open on your computer. We should focus on one per time to achieve maximum productivity. Now, from your experience, when you decided, I cannot handle all these things without dropping the ball, how did you come to the decision of knowing what to drop? What was that maybe scale of preference that helped you to take the right decision?
Yes. Thank you, Oluwaseun. So like you said, It's a computer function, this multitasking thing we're talking about. In fact, the world did not exist until IBM computers were invented, So we are juggling many balls. That's what we're doing in life. And my favorite illustration is saying that, we have different balls. Some of the balls we have are glass, some of them are steel, some of them are rubber. They fall, they bounce right back up. Some, if they fall, they're going to break. And I think those ones that are the most fragile are the ones that involve our family, our mental health, things that are so core to you. And then there are some that, look, even if they fall down, it's okay. They will bounce back or they don't. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. So you need to just be able to prioritize. So, for instance, I'll give you an example. My village meeting. One day they want me to be the secretary. I said, oh my goodness, what an honor. But that village meeting, at the end of the day, not that my village is not important to me, but on the scale, what are those things that if I don't show up, is it going to make a difference? If I don't show up to my son's recital in school, will that make a difference to my son? Yes, it would. If I don't show up at that meeting, would it make a difference to the meeting people? Not really, because there are other women who attend and I'm not really that, yeah, once in a while. So you need to just look at it. Where is your presence most felt? Where's your presence most valued and more important? And also, what would you regret if you missed it? If you miss that school event for your son when he's getting an award, would you feel bad and say, oh, I wish I had been there? If you miss that funeral of your aunt who raised you when you were a child, would you feel bad about it? Versus if you missed that meeting for your, whatever it is, how would you feel the next day? Would it be a big deal? So we need to be able to be true to ourselves, ask ourselves questions. If I don't go for that party, tomorrow would I regret not going for the party? If I'm not, why am I going? Why am I going all the way for that party in the first place? So these are the things we need to keep on asking ourselves. Which are the glass balls? Which are those precious balls that I cannot afford to drop? Those ones, you stay close. But the ones that that, look, at the end of the day, if you're not the vice chairman of the estates, it's okay. Somebody else can get the job done. You can continue to attend meetings and make your valuable contributions without being a member of the executive. So those are things I had to ask myself, Chiomah, where do you need to be? Which ones need you? You cannot by the end of the day, you end up stretching yourself, you break down, you will be replaced. So those are the things you need to always be true to yourself. Nobody can tell you what your glass balls are. You need to tell yourself the truth and say, this is what is most important to me. These are the things I need to say no to right now. There's some things you might even have said yes to. I had that, situation I had said yes to certain things. I had to say, what, I know I said yes, but I need to apologize. Right now at this time, I cannot commit for so and so reason, but I promise I will do X, Y, Z. So you need to be able to just really be true to you. And that's really what it's when you've been able to discover who you are, understand who you are as a person, and know that, look, these are my priorities. Maybe it's family, maybe it's my community, whatever it is. And then you can now have a scale, okay, which ones do I need? I can still be part of them, but from a distance or, without actually, for me, it was, I give you an example. I was the executive, in my estate and I enjoyed doing the work, but it was 2 years of being called for meetings every week. It was too much for me. So so when it was time for re-election, I said, Pico, I ain't doing it. I know I'm honored, but there are other people who can do a fantastic job as well. So that I guess at times we have this complex that, look, without us, it cannot go on. That's not true. There's so many amazing people who can get the job done. So many. And I was the only person who did not get re-elected because I decided to step down. And the estate is running beautifully. Things are going on, without me. So you need to really ask yourself certain questions and be honest with your answers.
Thank you so much. That is very lucid and I believe helpful. Now let's bring it into the home. As a woman, as a mother, as a wife, there are a lot of things calling for your attention as well. So how do you prioritize what to do per time such that other things also do not suffer? I mean, differentiating between urgent and important and not even essential at all.
Fantastic. So I always like to say that you cannot pour from an empty cup or an empty vessel. So first of all, number one priority is you. You need to take care of yourself, and this is something a lot of women are guilty of. They put themselves last. A woman wants to buy herself buy something for herself and she's buying a pot. I'm like, that pot, is it for you? Or is it for the whole household? But she might not go to eat from the pot. And I have nothing against buying pots because I still do it. But sometimes you need to just do something that is just for you. As in, that handbag is only you that will carry it, or that earrings, only you that's going to wear it. Sometimes you need to actually say, you know what, it's me. I need to prioritize myself. And it's not about being selfish. It's about you just saying, look, I am important. I need to be whole, mentally, physically, spiritually, all round. And it involves you doing your medical checks, very important. You self-care. It involves you going to the spa, making commitments that I will start working out. I will go to the spa every month. Those are things you need to do for yourself as a woman. So you feel good about yourself. So you feel good physically, not just about yourself, but feel good physically, and you actually feel good mentally, and and otherwise, and about yourself as well. When you're taking care of yourself, then you now look at, okay, who are the stakeholders? If you're married, you have a husband, then you have children as well, or whoever else, relatives, sisters, family members, extended family. We live in Africa, but you must make sure that you have a good support system. It's often said in our climate that it takes a village to raise a child. And for many mothers, whether they're single mothers or they have a husband, they want to do it. At times they feel like, in fact, the ones with the husbands, I don't even understand because I said I was guilty. The man is there, he's capable of doing so much, but you're not allowing him to do anything, or you're making it seem like he doesn't need to do anything. I'm like, no, we help this man, achieve this learned helplessness where they feel they can't even carry babies. They cannot do anything. They just come in there, they come, they look, and they go. I'm like, no, we're all part of this process together. Sometimes you have to actually ensure that you are not the one that is setting up that man or whoever not to help. And then we need to ask for help. A lot of us, we don't want to ask. I mean, I don't know where that came from, because growing up, for me, we had relatives around, pros and cons of having that. But sometimes it could just be your neighbors. Do you have a neighbor that's very helpful? Do you have a friend? At times, things like school run. This year or from last year, I just said, okay, school pickup. I'm a very hands-on parent, but school pickup, I said, I'm already doing drop in the morning. That pickup makes me go up and down, I'll be going to and fro, I'm wasting back. I'm like, you know what? My neighbor is very capable. I said, Lara, please pick up, you'll be assisting me. Me, I'll be doing drop off, you'll be doing, because I just told myself the time I'm extending doing that, it's wear and tear on me, wear and tear on the vehicle. And also now with this fuel thing, it's costing a whole lot. So you need to make use support, ask. She wasn't going to offer if I did not ask her and say, oh, please, can you help me with this particular aspect? Because we live in the same. So at times, to look for ways to help yourself. At times, we just have this whole thing. We want to be this superwoman. I keep on saying it. That superwoman badge, please remove it, unpin it. If someone pinned it for you, unpin it and put it down. Trash it. We don't need to be superwoman. We just need to be fully functional women who are happy, who are thriving in every area of our life. I keep on saying we can have it all, but it depends on what you're doing. If you're packing everything, someone, like I said, me, people ask me, how do you do this? I'm like, even me, I don't know. But one thing I know is that I have learned to remove some things. I don't really watch TV. It's not my thing. I don't really watch series. I get addicted to them. But once in a while, I do take time to do those things. But I recreate. I can just, once I'm done for the day, I go home. I'm a very social person, so I go to parties. But you not see me spending the whole day at a party. I cannot. I can't honor every invitation. Someone was asking me, oh, somebody invited you somewhere. Why didn't you go? I said, well, because the truth is that she invited everybody in town as well. So, so it wasn't, so let me not feel that, oh, it's because she loves me so much. But and that day was already packed. So you need to prioritize. You mustn't be everywhere. You mustn't attend every meeting. You mustn't attend every social event. Your family is so important. And the time you spend at home with them is when you're making impact. So your support system, I think that's really number one. Get the help you need. People are so scared of this whole house help business, but the truth is that they are good people. And if you get a good person and you train them well, they will be valuable in your home. If you ask for help from the right people, you will get that help. But you need to take the step by asking. If you don't ask, you're not going to get it.
I like how you take a peek into my mind by touching on two things I would have asked, and I will still ask them. One is the concept of having it all, what your own definition or perspective is. And two is the house help. I once engaged in a conversation with a lady who said, a married lady, a mom, who said she cannot have a house help. And guess the reason? That it makes her feel less of a woman or less of a wife and less of that. For instance, she can't have another woman cooking her husband's meal that it feels too personal. And I'm thinking, Does your husband not eat out at some point? Who cooked it? So that's the second part. The first one is, what's your idea of having it all? And secondly, what would you say to someone who thinks, I don't want another woman or another girl in my house to be my help and the like? So we'll take those responses right after this breather. If you're joining us for the first time, you're listening to Soul Sisters. We're streaming live on YouTube. You can join the conversation. WhatsApp line is 0809 444 0981. Again, 0809 444 0981. We'll be right back.
Love music, love life. Smooth 98.1.
Hasn't you'll be surprised the kind of ideas that people have these days. I was like, what? As long as your husband eats out.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, I was shocked.
That
There
is
is
so
a
interesting.
fear. I know that there is a fear of, I don't know this person from Adam, so they can come in and do whatever. But saying that so that means such a person is going to be always burnt out because they want to do everything.
Because you want to do everything. And I say that there's some things that nobody can do for your husband. Face those ones. The ones other people can do, please outsource them and have your rest. I outsource with pride because I'm like, goodness me. Aren't our lives busy enough already? You know?
And I
then
think
with the African man, with the way he's raised, already there's that entitlement. Like, I'm not going to do anything. So we have to help ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, like you rightly said, the way people are raised refers to this, especially when you see maybe your mom doing everything and looking at like she's killing all the roles.
We don't need. I think social media also has a role to play in all of that. Because you see women that seem like they're doing everything, they're slaying, they're doing everything in the house, but you don't know what's happening behind the scene. You don't know how people are helping them behind the scene. So you want to be that, oh, I'm perfect. Says
It's 5 evenings.
I remember how people went wild when, was it Kim Kardashian or Beyonce? It was Beyonce who had twins and had almost 2 helps for each child. So I don't remember the details. And people said, why would she have 2 helps for one child? All the babies had help or nannies for each child.
there you go. If she can afford it, it's good for her.
Love music, love life. We are Smooth 98.1. It's now 27 minutes past 11 o'clock, and the conversation is getting even smoother, cooler, and, well, hotter, because this part is going to be really great. We'll get into the part where we want to understand why, or maybe not understand, but I mentioned before going on the breather, a woman who said that she cannot have a help in the home, not because she's scared that the person is going to come poison her or something, but because it's going to make her feel less of a woman. The same way some women say, and no other woman should cook for my husband. So my guest is Chiomah Momah, and she is joining me via Zoom. You can see her face. You can see us on YouTube. That is youtube.com/smooth981 FM Lagos. So what would you say to such a woman who doesn't want help?
I find it I find those things so interesting. And I think it's it's programming. Maybe the way she was raised or something. And I don't know. I find it very strange that people have such issues, because the truth is that there are some things that you can do, only you can do. Yeah, for your husband or for your children, but there's some things that you can get help for. Why not? So if it's working for you, great. But what I don't like is when I see such people and you can see that they're obviously under a lot of stress and pressure, and they're not taking care of themselves at all because there's just so much. Why? My question is that why are you doing that to yourself? So it's if you're coping as a woman that they seem to be doing well, good for you. But if you're not, I'm like, why? What are your fears? What are you scared is going to happen? And like, it could come from, which is why I do a lot of work with parents, because I'm trying to make sure, look, let's not carry our baggage from our own upbringing and put it in our own new family structure. Because that's what happens to a lot of people. For instance, I grew up in a house that we had lots of help. And the way I was raised with my help in the sense that we were all in the kitchen together. We all did the chores together. And people see me and they're like, oh, you're so, domesticated, and they're like, how come? And I'm like, that you don't seem the type. I'm like, because my mother would make you, everybody's in the kitchen, house help, no house help, everybody, works. So upbringing has a huge part to play in some of these mindsets that people have, because so maybe she was raised in a home where there was no help, or only her mother cooked. But then you ask yourself, okay, maybe her mother was a full-time housewife, so maybe that worked. Are you a full-time housewife? Is that going to work for your own situation? Ask yourself some questions, and if she's, like I said, if she's already complaining about it, maybe she's like, oh, I'm stressed, but I cannot, I can't do this, but I'm stressed. What, why? Ask yourself certain things. Maybe that's what you think. Maybe that's the way you've been programmed to, nobody else must cook for your husband. But then you ask the question, when he goes to eat in a restaurant, who makes the food for him? Who's making that food? Is this something, I remember this funny story about this man who said he could only eat food that was freshly cooked that day.
Oh,
So
yeah.
every day the wife is cooking and cooking and cooking. And one day her mother-in-law came and said, what are you doing? She said, your son said he can only eat fresh. So the mother-in-law told her, you know what, make food, do a big batch, put it in small bowls, and he would never know. And she did that. And for weeks, the man had no idea she had made that food. I, the day she told him, say, you want to poison me? She said, but you've been eating this food. You've been eating it, So let's ask ourselves questions. As women, ask yourself certain questions. Really, 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 honestly. Don't you go to weddings? Don't you order food sometimes? I order food sometimes. There's some foods that the processes are so long. Ekpan kuku is one thing I love to eat, but the process, I'm not going to make it in my house. Not now. I'm sorry. So is it I'm going to order it or ask someone to do it for me? Not because I'm just like, do I really need to go through that stress at this point in my life? No, I don't think so. So I'm not even going to even bother with certain things. But the most important thing is your home getting the love, is your husband being well, nourished, is it a loving home? Let's not major on the minor. Let's major on the major as women. Let's make sure our homes are, nurturing places for our families. The small, small things, at the end of the day, they don't really matter. And we need to learn those things, that those things at the end of the day, the big picture, they don't matter as much. Please if you need help, don't let anybody judge you. Get help, but do your due diligence. I have a video on YouTube on that. Do your due diligence. A help lives in your home. So you cannot hire a help the same way you're going to hire, say, somebody that is, that is manning your shop or something funny. Do something, this is something that's going to be part of your household. Do your due diligence and please treat the person well. If you get a good person, treat them well and you'll get the best out of them.
Thank you. Now, to the other part of that question, you're a public policy lawyer, you're an author, you're a speaker, you're a parenting and life advocate, and you counsel a lot. You do a lot of things. The concept of having it all, what's your idea? What's your perspective?
Having it all is fulfilling purpose. That's basically what it is for me. Fulfilling purpose. God gave us things. He gave us gifts when He made us on earth. And the whole idea is to explore all those gifts He gave you, whether it's the gift of being a great radio talk host, whether it's the gift of being an author, whether it's the gift of being whatever it is, explore it. There's some things I've done, I've dropped. I sold makeup once. I will never sell makeup again. I've done certain things I know I'm never going to do again, but I'm happy I explored them. I'm happy I tried them. And so for me, having it all is just living a purposeful life where those gifts that God has placed in you, you're able to express them. And at the end of the day, when you make heaven, when you meet Him, you can say, oh, He can say, well done, my servant, you've done well. So that's what it is. Living a happy, fulfilled, purpose-driven life. You're not doing things to please people. You're not doing things to play to the gallery. You're doing things because you feel that this is what God has asked you to do or God has placed you on earth to do. Purpose, a purpose-driven life is a life where you have it all. It could be one thing, it could be 10 things, but you are living purpose.
So for a lady who is wondering, what exactly am I doing? I mean, I'm doing things. I'm going to work. I have a fantastic job, but is this really what I should be doing? How do I go about finding this purpose?
Okay, so you ask yourself, am I happy? Do a 360 degree. Are you happy going to work? Do you enjoy the space? Sometimes you might be somewhere that you're not happy, but it might be just for a little time. Maybe there's some training you're supposed to get from that particular place. But what will be a disservice if you keep on staying there, even when you don't want to be there, even when you're not happy there. And I'm not talking about being unhappy about the salary or things like that, but you just know that, look, this is not where you're supposed to be. You're not thriving in that environment. Because I like plants, and every plant needs the right environment to thrive. You need water, you need fertilizer sometimes, you need sun, you need all those things that will make you bloom. And if you're somewhere that you're not blooming, it's just you're not just blooming at all. Sometimes there might be storm, sometimes there might be no sun. When it's like a constant, okay, I'm actually in the wrong place. So sometimes everyone might think, oh, you have a great job, this is a fantastic place, just stay there. But you yourself, inside you, you know that no, this is not where I'm supposed to be. And at the end of the day, the funny thing is that at times we're waiting for people to tell us you're not supposed to be there. But it is you that will tell yourself, I'm not supposed to be here. This is not where I'm supposed to be. I need to be somewhere else. So that young woman who is looking for more, who is, asking herself, is this where I'm supposed to be? There's a reason why you're asking yourself those questions. Maybe it's time to do some work on yourself, do some assessment, get a coach. You can talk to someone like me and begin to build yourself and prepare for the next stage of life. Maybe God has something bigger for you to do, has more in store for you, has bigger plans for you, and you're just limiting yourself because of your limiting mind beliefs, because of your fear. A lot of us have fear. But like, what if we leave this, what next? If we stop doing this, what next? If we explore that option, we go back to school, what next? What would happen? But at the end of the day, you find that you do that and nothing happens. The only thing that happens is that you get fulfilled, you're happy, and you're like, I wish I had done it sooner. Like when I went back to school, I went back with two little children. Everybody was like, you must be crazy. But I knew it was something I wanted to do. And I did it. It was amazing. And my life just took another leap from that experience. So if you're looking for people to affirm you or to tell you, oh, you're doing well, it's about you. Always remember that you're actually it's about you. You are singing or performing for a gallery of just you and God. At the end of the day, everybody else will come round or not. It doesn't matter. But do what comes from inside. Do it. Once you're exploring those things, you will find out that you will end up being so fulfilled. So stop looking for affirmation. Stop looking for people to validate you. That's one of the biggest things that really affects us, especially as women. We have a lot of self-doubt. We have huge imposter syndrome issues. And we're constantly looking for affirmation from people to say, oh, you're on the right track. Go right, go left. You don't need it. Trust me.
Thank you very much for that. On WhatsApp, Oluwaseun says, hi. So this morning I woke up to this thought of women multitasking. We need to appreciate women. More so, let women stop genderalizing house chores. That way, it will make boys have sense of responsibility at home and help their partner when they become men. Very true. Very true.
Love it.
You can
And that's why I
contribute.
started. Sorry, I'm going to say that. That's why I started writing books for children as well, because I wanted us to be able to teach our children these things from when they're young. Teach them empathy, teach them manners, teach them that, look, everybody does chores. By the time they start to see these things in the books they read, it'll become more normal to them.
Thank you for again taking a peek into my mind, because the next question was going to be, as the convener, the founder of Let's Encourage a Reading Nation, what inspired that? But you have given me teats bit of the story, so we can as well just dive into it.
Okay. So I must admit, Learn is something I started a few years ago. Like for the whole of this year, like I said, I always try and plan my year. Learn has been very quiet this year because I'm trying to focus on a whole lot of things. But it was born out of the fact that, look, children need to read. And one of the easiest ways to teach them life lessons is through the books they read. Getting them to fall in love with reading. And that's why, for me, I've always been an avid reader. I love reading. As a child, I was like, stop reading. If only you will stop, reading. I always love books. So writing for my children, I started writing for them. I just told myself, if you can put enough lessons in these books, they would learn. I said, okay, how about beyond my children? How about other children who don't have a chance to read? Children, the less privileged, children in the villages, children who are, in homes that there's, that they're looking for food to eat, not for money to buy books. So I started organizing book drives where I would get books, fairly used books, pre-loved books, and also my own books that I have written and donate to these people. This year, even though I said we've been quiet this year we've been able to donate books to 2 villages, my own hometown in Anambra State, and also my mother's village where they have a primary school. And I was also able to, get some books and donate some books to the primary school in that village. Because I just told myself, the people there are not looking to buy books. They're looking for food to eat. They're looking for how, livelihood. But they need those books. And there's one story that always inspires me as, that really, helps me to make sure, look, learn doesn't die. The story of some lady I met some years ago. She was in the village for some years with her grandmother. And her grandmother's dream for her was, look, you finish primary school, you marry the palm wine tapper's son. That's it. No secondary school, start having children, and that's it. But she said that one thing made her know that wasn't the life for me. It was the books she had read earlier as a little boy, so as a little girl with her mother. She read those books like, The Famous Five, and she told herself, no, this story my grandmother is telling me of not going to secondary school it's not in sync with the books I've been reading or the books I read in the past. So she rejected what her grandmother was saying she wanted for her. She said, no, Mama, there's more. I want an education. I want to travel abroad. I want to see all the countries in those books I read. And that was what fueled her passion. And she said, no, 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 Mama, I need to leave the village. And she left. And now she's in Canada with her own family. She's doing really well. Even before she left for Canada, she was here in Abuja doing amazing things in the world of education and literacy and all of that. So books are just amazing. Books take you where you've never been, give you foods you've never eaten, give you experiences that you can only just imagine. And they propel you to higher heights. So for me, when a child's able to have access to books, that lifelong love for learning is established very early, and they're able to prosper in every part of their life. They're able to prosper in their education. They're able to prosper financially. They're able to just have, a huge mind and the way they think. For me, early reading made me, a speed reader, and people always say, you read so fast, you do this, you're a quick thinker. I'm saying it because I learned to love reading very early. It was something that was really inculcated in me very early. So that's why Learn exists. That's why I write books for children. That's why I will continue to promote literacy and education for our young children.
Thank you so much. I think we cannot overemphasize the importance of books, not just being your window to the world. I think on a lighter note, they also create a certain hunger in you. For instance, you read some books and there are some foods, and I mean, literally, I remember the first time I came across marshmallow in a book, and I said, oh, this must taste so nice. The first time I had marshmallow, no, it didn't taste as nice as I
I
imagined.
know.
And the other part is how it helps you to build your vocabulary. And you see some words. Now, you don't know how to pronounce them, but you just know the meaning. So I remember the first time I realized that FACADE is not facade, it's facade. In it in a book. But you cannot deny that it helps to enrich the vocabulary, and that's just great. So we need to encourage it a lot.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you. All right, so we take the final breather, and when we come back, we'll be wrapping up with that work, life, and family balance. Because again, you have mentioned a good chunk of things that a person needs to do, but just to go into the details. And if there is any question from anyone, WhatsApp line is 0809 444 0981. I'll be back to take that number, and you stay with us right here on Soul Sisters.
My name is Richard Dominic, and this is Smooth 98.1.
I mean, there were so many foods that I read of, and I thought, oh, this is going to taste so great. Lie.
No, tell me about it. Mine was scones. You know, they say scones in all the famous 5 books. It was so dry. I think this thing is so dry and uninteresting. What was all the noise about?
Broccoli was another. I thought broccoli was going to taste like heaven. No, tastes like mowed lawn. Like grass.
And that's why in the Nigerian books I do a lot of food. I always put food in my books because I want people to see our own food. So I put them with the Nigerian name. I don't put bean pudding, I put moi moi. I put zobo because because the same way we know what pizza is not English. But we all know pizza from even before we started eating pizza. We all knew the word and knew what it was, So I said, okay, they should know our own food too. So, so that's it.
I think there was something that Chimamanda said when in one of her books, the danger of a single story, I think, or speeches rather, where she said, because of the books she was reading, they would talk about weathers, they would talk about gingerbread and the likes. That was not her reality. So indeed, we need more authors from here to write more because just like movies, books are great PR for country and continents. Okay, so we're back on.
Your radio. Smooth 98.1.
And you might not be able to dance at the moment, but you can listen. So you're welcome to Soul Sisters right here on Smooth 98.1, where we love music, we love life. It's now 44 minutes past 11 o'clock, which implies that we have about 7 minutes to wrap up this conversation. You're welcome to quickly chip in a thing or two to WhatsApp 0809 4440981. Again, 0809 444 0981. I wouldn't say you should call, but if you want to, you would have to be quick about that. And the call line is 0201 448 9981. Again, 0201 448 9981. It's been an absolutely delightful conversation with my guest this morning, who's a public policy lawyer. She's a parenting and family life advocate, as well as an author and the convener of Let's Encourage a Reading Nation. Now, on a final note, let's talk about achieving that work, life, and family balance. Or maybe I should say life, work, and family balance. So how do you arrange it?
How do you arrange? That's a good question. And before I answer that, I'm going to just talk a bit about the books I've written, and just to talk about how we need to promote our children's books, our African literature so much more. I'm particular about talking about Nigerian food, moi moi, and all of that in our book, Jollof Rice, so that people know that we have great food and people see us. So talking about work-life balance, for me, I've stopped using the word balance because I think it's a bit, it makes you feel that there is a balance, and there isn't really. It's more of work-life integration. I love integration. I like using integration. I'm actually doing a PhD where I'm actually talking about that and how we can, women in the public sector can, practice work-life integration or balance or whatever you like to call it, because it makes it seem as if everything is going to be like that. And it's not. Everything is not equal. Everything is not on the same scale. Sometimes you might have to prioritize certain tasks. For instance, you have a deadline at work. So it would mean you closing very late hours, maybe for like a couple of days or for like a week. But that's not going to be your whole year. So at that point in time, it will seem like you're prioritizing work over family. But no, it's just a project you're doing at that time that requires you doing certain things. Or for me, that I travel a lot for work, you might think, oh, this man is always on the move a lot. What's happening to her family? But I know I don't travel every day, or I don't take up every travel opportunity. Or sometimes if I know I can come back, I try and come back and say, you know what, I've been away. I was away the whole of last week. Next week, I will not be away the whole time. I'll only go for one day and come back. And I'll make sure that when I'm away, there's someone at home with my children who's giving them that sense of, oh, that mommy is away, but we have, we have auntie here who is so hands-on, and daddy is fully on ground and all of that. So it's about us prioritizing and knowing that, look, there's sometimes that some things may have, may decline, but how do we deal with them? For instance, there have been times where because I try to do that. So I'll give you an example. When I went for my master's program in the UK, I didn't go with all my children. I left the older children with their father. And my son was in primary 6. My second son was in primary 6 at the time. So he had his graduation coming up in July. Now school was going to end in I think in August or September. So I was meant to come back in August and I would miss his graduation. I knew it was going to mean the world to him. So what I had to do was to double down on my schoolwork, talk to my supervisor and tell her, you know what, I need to be back in Nigeria early July. Can we speed things up a bit? And she complied. So that was how I was able to balance that out and make sure I was back home just in time for my son's graduation. So at times, me not having to push the ball a bit faster, ask for certain favors, relying more on our network or our support system. But you need to really be intentional. That's really the name of the game, intentionality. When you're talking about work life, juggling different things, wearing different hats, intentionality is the name of the game. I am a very family-oriented person. You know what it means in this like Africa with our extended family. If you allow them, they will just be using your head and sending you all over the world. So you need to just say, Auntie, no, it's not me. I will not do it. With all politeness. Sometimes you want to be the good person in the family, but at the end of the day, it's affecting your family time, it's affecting your work. That's your cousin Symbiat or your cousin, Ronke, who doesn't answer them. They let her have peace. But you that's always answering, they've turned you into the family. I don't know what to call you, the family errand
Errand
girl.
girl.
Family errand girl. So you have to say sometimes, say, you know what? Auntie, I can't. I'm so sorry. I'm busy. I'm working. And they will understand. Please, you can't call me during the office hours because I'm actually at work. Auntie, I'll get back to you. I'll call you back. So you have to put things in place, put a structure, put boundaries. Boundaries will help you achieve that work-life integration that you so desperately crave. Put boundaries. People respect boundaries. You might think that person will be offended. Guess what? They might not be. They'll be like, Chiomah is speaking up for herself. Oh, nice. I like it. But if you don't, the truth is that the world is a very wicked place. If you allow them to take advantage of you, they will. If you allow people use you, they will use you well. You have to be the one that will say, no, 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 no. I'm putting boundaries in place. I have a structure. I have guidelines. Once it's so and so time, I will not do X, Y, Z, and the world will move on fine. So please, the main thing is about, using your support system, putting boundaries in place, saying no when you need to say saying no. If you're not sure of if no is the right thing to say, you can say, you know what, I'll get back to you. Let me check my schedule and I'll get back to you. They will find someone else. Just last weekend I had 2 events. One was an event I was hosting. I life coach as well. I coach, most times it's career women that I coach. And I had an event for them, and somebody wanted me to speak afterwards. And I said, no. After I said no, she still came again. She's a very dear friend and said, please, after your event, I said, no, I'm not, I can't. After that event, I'm going to need to go home and spend time with my family. And that was just what I did. So, and she found it, and the event went on beautifully without me. Okay. So you need to be able to put that no, like they say, is a complete sentence. It's so important. But really, no is a complete sentence. But sometimes you have to say no in certain ways. Because you're not, at times people are afraid of closing doors or whatever. No, you can just say, oh, thank you. Thank you for the honor, but I'm unable to attend at this time. Maybe next time. You still said no. You still said no. So you're afraid that they won't call you again. Say, oh, I might be willing next time, but at this moment in time, I cannot do it. And you need to stand for what you believe in. Don't be someone that just if you beg her, she will agree. Don't worry, just beg her small. You see, she'll change her mind. Just stand by what you've said. If you feel strongly about something, please let them know you for who you are. Someone of your word, someone who has integrity, someone who has boundaries in place. If you have boundaries, they will respect those boundaries. That's it.
Thank you so much. Very unrelated. Do you have a nickname?
I have several. They call me the girl. Family members, they call me girly or the girl. And that was something my mom called me because I came after 2 boys. I think she was so excited to have a daughter. So she was like, oh, the girl has arrived. So yeah, some close family call me that.
Because as I listen to how you're able to firmly define your boundaries, I can only imagine that there will be people that will somehow nickname you. I don't know if they have ever said it to your face, but Iron Lady will probably be
I,
part of
I
it.
started hearing that about me recently. And it's funny, like I was just saying how people evolve. But someone will say, that me, I'm very, what's the word? Chiomah. Once she said something, she's very strong-willed. And I wasn't always like that. I used to be that person. By the time you beg me small, I have agreed. So, but I have to say to myself, Chiomah, you cannot continue like this. When you grow, you have to look at yourself and do an assessment. What are the things that are causing issues for me? At work, you want to take every assignment. In the house, every assignment. In church, every assignment. No, you have to be able to say, no, this one, I'm sorry, I am not doing it. I cannot do it. Try somebody else. And by the time they know that, oh, this person, she's not going to do it. We've asked her, we've begged her. But, of course, there can be some flexibility, but generally, you need to be able to. And so I'm happy that people now see me and say, that one, she has said, no, just leave it. Because that was not always the case. I had to train myself to say that Chiomah is okay. You're trying to be nice, and that niceness does not always get you the corner office. That niceness gets you at times taken for granted, and it kills your time. Time you should spend at home, time you should spend at work doing what's important. You're doing other things that somebody else can do. So, having boundaries, like I said, in the office, sir, I've had there were times, I was on leave and I was called to do stuff that I knew somebody else could do. I have to say, sir, sorry, there are people that can do it. I will not come to the office to do it. Thank you for the honor. I know you because you think I'll do it, really well, but I can identify 3 people that will do just as good as I can. So please, get them to do the job. And they know that, okay, that's it.
Thank you so much for sharing from your experience. And I want to assume that it will inspire a woman who feels I have to always be there. I want to be the nice girl. and I want to be available. It can just come from the thought of I want to be available for the people I love. I want to just be there
Mm,
always. But
mm, mm.
that will tell on you. It will take its toll on you.
Take its toll. It will take its toll.
I think one of the key points made today is that you are not indispensable. Don't ever be in the illusion that you are indispensable. You are
Why
not.
not
Life
to?
will move on without you. So recognize that and use it to prioritize and learn to say the no and stick with it.
Think
Absolutely
about
wonderful.
it. The event, there was an event I was supposed to go to, and it involved traveling. I travel quite a bit because I'm the first daughter. My parents are late, so at times family commitments. I have to just show up for this family that has been good to us. But there's some particular ones where I know, like, Chiomah, you're not going for this. Sit down. And I asked myself, if you don't go, would the event still take place? Yes, it will. Nobody's going to, in fact, they don't even know whether you came or not. They'll say,
Hey,
oh, I thought you were there. I've had that event where I told the person, "Oh, I'm sorry I didn't make it." She was like, "Oh, weren't you there? I thought you were there. I thought I saw you in the hall." I said, "No, I wasn't there actually." And I was like, thank God I didn't go for that, because that would have been really annoying. Of course, there's certain people who they're extremely close and all that. Sometimes you have to make the effort. But even when you can, usually they understand. Remember, there was a dear uncle of mine who was turning 70, and I couldn't make his birthday. And I really felt bad because for me, I like to celebrate when you are alive. I said, this man has been such a phenomenal support. But I was going to be in Lagos before his birthday. So I took time to celebrate him before his birthday because I knew I could not be around for that event. It would have cost me a lot. It just wasn't going to work for different reasons. And I tell you, it meant a lot to him that I made that effort to appreciate him. So you have to just, at times be creative, find other things to do. I'm sure, in fact, for me, it was a more intimate, whatever, just being with him one-on-one and just being able to just, give him those hugs and all of that and say, Uncle, you know what, I love you. Thank you for being there and all that. Sorry, I can't make it for XYZ reasons. So get creative. And at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you're doing what is right. God, your family, and you, every other thing will be fine. Good friends will understand at the end of the day. Yeah?
Perfect Christmas gifts for the woman listening. Thank you so much. We couldn't have had it any better. It's been a delight having you share with us all this from your experience and just the priceless gems that you've dropped today. I appreciate it
Thank you.
deeply. Thank you. Now,
Thank
your
you,
social
Cheryl.
media handles?
Oh, yes, Chiomah Momah. So I spell my Chiomah Chiomah. I put an H after my A just to make it special because Chiomah is a common name. So I do put an H after my A. So Chiomah, Momah, Momah. And I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on YouTube. Please subscribe to my channel. I have lots of stuff for the working woman, for career women, those things that will encourage us. And look, we can live a good life. We can achieve our career goals. We can write that book you need to write. You can raise amazing children. My first son just finished school with the first class. I'm like, all glory to God. That's all I can say. All I can say is all glory to God, and I'm not making boast of it, but to say that you can you can raise amazing children, and you can still live the life you want, whether it's in your business or your career, and do so many things. I'm loving the life I'm living now. I'm loving the woman I am. I'm writing more books, my children's books. You can also get them. Roving Heights, Amazon, they're all there. Just look for my name, and you can get access to them. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's how we end it for today, 18th of December, 2024 on Soul Sisters. You can always find this conversation on YouTube on our page, and that is at Smooth 981 FM Lagos, at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. If you're a part of our WhatsApp family, we'll just drop the link for you on our WhatsApp status so that you click on it, you listen to it, you glean one or two, and then you share with your family and friends. My name is Oluwaseun Olusegun. And on the other side, I'll be playing you African music on the Casbah.
8.9.
Thank you so much.
I forgot to talk about goal setting. We forgot to talk about goal setting,
We
but
didn't have
well.
time. So I think what we can do is we can have another schedule in 2025. When it's fine with you, I would reach out then so we can have, there are a number of things we can discuss based on what it is that you do. So many of them. So I'll be in touch. I'll definitely stay in touch.
All right, that would be fantastic, Sheila. Nice to meet you. I'm happy we finally got this done.
Thank you.
All right, then have a
I'll
good
share
one.
this link with you on WhatsApp. So in case you
Okay,
want to go back
please.
to share, I'll do
Yes,
that.
yes, I would share it on my Instagram. I would do that.
All right. Bye.